Why, morning, Rhoda.
Morning, Daddy.
Up and dressed and ready for the day. Wearing your best perfume.
Yes, I am, Daddy.
That's right, this is the day of the picnic. I hope there's a breeze off the water.
Miss Fern says there always is.
She says it never rains the 1st of June, too. Don't count on it.
Are you leaving today, Daddy?
My plane goes in an hour back to Washington and the Pentagon and a climate that coddles eggs.
I like cuddled eggs.
You like everything. You're just too good to be true.
How long will you be gone?
Sealed orders, darling. All I know is that I'll be back as soon as I can. Now, what would you give me if I gave you a basket of kisses?
I'll give you a basket of hugs.
Ooh, I like your hugs.
I like your kisses, Daddy Kid. You're so big and strong.
I'll miss you. The general doesn't have one pretty girl on his whole staff.
I wish he didn't have my daddy. I'll miss you every day.
Will you write to me?
Do you want me to?
Of course I want you to.
Then I'll write to you every day.
Every time I put in a note for Mother, I'll put in a note for you.
Will you really?
Really and truly. And every time the general tells a good joke, I'll send you an official report.
Oh, Daddy, that won't be very often. You better say the bad ones, too.
Sweetheart, I will. I shall write daily to both of my sweethearts. Unless somebody makes a mistake, it starts a shooting war and we all have to go underground.
Would you go underground if there's a shooting war?
Yes, I would. And by gum, I'd go fast.
You said bye gum because I was here.
That's right, I did.
Darling, take care.
I will. Every minute I'm away, I'll wire you the minute we're on the ground. Take care of each other, you two.
We will. Oh, that's Monica and Emery. They wanted to say a last goodbye to you.
Oh, sure.
Is it all right?
It's perfect, darling. Parades and all.
Come in, Emery. And
Oh,
Monica.
just the effusive neighbors from upstairs, darlings. Have to be in on everything. Got no lives of their own, so they live other people's. Well, I speak for my brother as well as myself because, well, he never gets a chance to speak while I'm around. Oh, there, I've gone and said enough. Well, say something, Colonel.
Well, I guess it'll have to be goodbye because the taxi's here and I don't want to rush through traffic.
Don't worry about your two pretty girls, Ken. We'll keep an eye on them. Either one of them begins to look peaked, we'll send up smoke signals.
I'm counting on you, Emery. And on Monica.
Goodbye, Kenneth.
Well, sweetheart, this is it. Goodbye, big eyes.
Goodbye, Daddy.
Darling, I promised myself I wouldn't come down, but I just...
Don't, sweet. It's just an empty month or two. We'll get through them somehow.
I'll take those.
Goodbye.
Poor boy, he hates to go. And you hate to let him go.
I'm not very self-sufficient.
Oh, well, I am, and it's not so good. Oh, you're in love, both of you lucky characters. I wish I were. Oh, by the way, nobody has to take Rhoda to the bus this morning because I baked cupcakes for Miss Fern and she's coming by to pick them up.
Oh, good.
But before she does, I have a couple of presents for you, dear Rhoda.
Presents?
Yes. Now, the first one is from Emery. It's a pair of dog glasses with rhinestone decorations. Now, he told me to tell you they are to keep the sun out of those pretty blue eyes. Let me try them on you. Oh. Well, don't tell me. Who is this Hollywood actress? Oh, my goodness. Could it possibly be little Miss Rhoda Penmark, who lives with her delightful parents on the first floor of my apartment house?
I like them. Where's the cake?
Oh, right here. And now for the second present. This one's from me. It was given to me when I was 8 years old. Now, it's a little young for me now, but it's still just right for an 8-year-old. Now, it has a garnet in it, but I'll have to get it changed out for a diamond since diamond is your birthstone.
Can I have both stones? The diamond too?
Oh, Rhoda, Rhoda.
No, of course she may. Oh, how wonderful to know such a wonderful little girl. She knows what she wants and she asks for it. Not like those uncivilized little pets who need to go through analysis before they can order an ice cream soda.
Oh, Aunt Monica, dear sweet Aunt Monica.
Now, I may be behind the times, but don't children usually wear play suits or coveralls to picnics? Now, you look like a little princess in that red and white dotted Swiss. Aren't you afraid you're going to get it dirty or fall and scuff those new shoes?
Oh, she won't soil the dress, and she won't ruin her shoes. Rhoda never gets anything dirty. Though how she manages it, I just don't know.
I don't like coveralls. They're not...
Oh, you mean they're not ladylike? You perfect old-fashioned little girl.
Am I to keep this now?
You're to keep it until I find a place to get the stone changed.
Then I'll put it in my box.
Leroy. Guess I'm pretty early, Miss Denmark. It's my day for doing windows on this side.
Oh, that's fine, Leroy. You can go ahead and start in the bedroom. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am. Morning.
I like garlics, but I like diamonds even better.
Well, you sound just like Fred Astaire, tap, tap, tapping across the room. What you got on those shoes?
Oh, I run over my heels, and Mother had these iron pieces on, so they last longer.
Well, I'm afraid I can't take any credit for it. It was Rhoda's idea entirely.
I think they're very nice. They save money.
Oh, you penurious little sweetheart. But I'll tell you one thing, Rhoda. You know, I think you worry a little bit too much when you're not the very best at everything. That's why I thought Emery and I thought it would be nice for you to have a couple of presents today. You really wanted that penmanship medal now, didn't you?
It was the only gold medal Miss Fern ever gives, and it was really mine. Everyone knew I was the best hand in the class, and I should have had it.
Excuse me. Just getting some water.
I just don't see why Claude Daigle got the medal.
Rhoda, these things happen to us all the time. And when they do, we simply accept them, my darling. Don't let it bother you, dear. Oh, I'm sorry. I know you don't like people pawing all over you.
It was mine. The medal is mine.
Rhoda, forget the whole thing. Put it out of your mind.
I won't. I won't.
Leroy! What, have you lost your senses? You've spilled water all over Miss Rhoda's shoes.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I guess I was just trying to hurry.
Leroy! What? Oh, Leroy, I own this apartment house. I employ you. I have given you the benefit of the doubt so often because you have a family. I've always thought of you as emotionally immature, torn by irrational rages, a little on the psychotic side. But after this demonstration, I can see that my diagnosis was entirely too mild. You are definitely a schizophrenic with paranoid overtones. I have had enough of your surliness and discourtesy. Oh, my brother Emery. He's wanted to discharge you, but I have been on your side, though with misgivings. I shall tolerate this nonsense no longer.
He didn't mean it, Monica. It was an accident. I'm sure it
He
was.
meant to do it. I know Leroy well.
Rhoda!
It was deliberate. This was no accident. This was the spiteful act of a neurotic child.
He meant to do it. You made up your mind to do it when you went through the room.
Rhoda.
I was looking at you when you made up your mind to wed us.
No, I never. I'm just clumsy.
Oh, please.
Leroy, my patience is at its end, and you might as well know it. Now go about your work. Leroy, go
Yes, ma'am.
about your work. He has the mind of an 8-year-old, but I keep him on because he's managed to produce a family. Oh, that must be Miss Fern.
I'm a bit ahead of time, as usual.
Oh, the old scatterbrain has gone and left the cupcakes upstairs. Rhoda, would you come up and help me bring them down?
Yes, of course I will.
They're already packed.
Good morning, Miss Fern.
Well, that's a perfect curtsy, Rhoda.
Thank you, Miss Fern.
She does things well.
Oh, she does everything well, as you must know better than I.
And as a person, does she fit in well at school?
Oh, well, let me think. In what way, Mrs. Penmark?
Well, there's a bit of a, I don't know quite how to say it. There's a bit of mature quality in Rhoda that my husband and I sometimes think that could be disturbing in a child. Oh, and we were hoping that with a school like yours, where you believe in old school virtues and discipline, might perhaps teach her to be a bit more of a child.
Yes, I know what you mean. In some ways, oh, in many ways, Rhoda is the most satisfactory pupil the school has ever had. Well, she's never been tardy, she's never been absent. Well, she's the only child in the history of the school who has earned 100 in deportment each month in every class, and 100 in self-reliance and conservation on the playground each month for an entire school year. Oh, if you had dealt with as many children as I have, you'd realize what a remarkable record that is. And she's the neatest little girl I've ever encountered.
Oh, Kenneth says he doesn't know where she gets her tidiness from. Certainly not from him, or me.
Well, she has many good qualities. Well, she's certainly no tattletale.
Oh,
One of our children broke a window across the street, and we knew that Rhoda knew who it was. When we questioned her about it and told her it was her duty as an honorable citizen to report the offender, she just kept on eating her apple, shaking her head, denying she knew anything about it, and looking us over with that pitying, calculating look she gets at certain times.
oh, I know that look very well.
Oh, but that was admirable too, for she was merely being loyal to a playmate.
Ah, well, then as a person, is she good with the other children? Is she popular?
The other children? Oh, well,
Here we are.
I suppose we should be going, for my sisters and the others will be waiting. Goodbye, Mrs. Penmark.
Goodbye, Miss Fern. Make me everything a picnic should be.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Come, Rhoda.
Yes,
Home
Miss Fern.
season, prosperous voyage.
Thank you. No time, we're off.
We stole time, didn't we, Rhoda?
Bless you both.
Well, now the oldest set's left behind with nothing to do.
I guess I could go through the dreary business of making my face presentable. It happens every morning.
Your face, think of mine.
I always get so gloomy when Kenneth goes away. There's an old saying, we die a little at parting.
Oh, honey, we die a little every day if you want to brood about it. Hey, why don't we make a party out of this? You're having Anne-Marie and Reginald Tasker over for lunch, aren't you?
Well,
Well, why don't I help you?
yes, but what do you feed a criminologist?
Oh, blue vitriol, prussic acid, and ground glass.
Oh, hot leather things.
Oh, nothing at hurt Reggie. Why, he thrives on buckets of blood and sudden death.
How many mysteries has he written?
Well, an entire volume of his works would encircle the Empire State Building, or me. Oh, come on. I'm a garrulous old hag, but I can grind glass. I'm not going to let you be lonely.
That know-it-all Monica Breedlove. She don't think nobody knows nothing except her. I'll teach that bitch play. And that young, trough-fed Miss Denmark. She don't get enough of what she needs. I could give it to her. Rhoda now. That's a smart little girl. She's almost as smart as I am. She sees through me and I see through her. But damn, she's smart.
But I did meet him. Nobody ever believes me when I tell them I met Sigmund Freud.
Come now, they believe you.
You mean it's just automatic flattery? Well, they know I'm old enough, but they raise doubts to make me feel better. Anyway, it wasn't Dr. Freud who analyzed me, it was Dr. Kettlebaum in London.
Now we're off.
Now, it was my choice, of course, not to minimize the professional standing of Dr. Freud, for I still think of him as the great genius of our time. But Dr. Kettlebaum is more simpatico, if you know what I mean, Reggie.
It means simpatico, if you know what that means.
Anyway, Freud loathed American women.
Oh?
Yes, yes, though not consciously. And I loathed his Germanic prejudice of female independence.
Oh, was Freud prejudiced?
Oh, indeed he was. Well, he would bristle when I would suggest that women had more sense than men. Oh, yes. Yeah. Though Dr. Kettlebaum embraced the individuality of the human soul. His mind was less literal and more mystic, like my own.
Really, Monica, did the analysis do you any good, actually?
Oh, it broke up my marriage.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I dug deep into the bottom of my soul. Ah, what a spectacle. Oh, when I got back, I asked Mr. Breedlove for a divorce, and well, he didn't oppose it.
Oh.
So, I did what I always wanted, and that was to make a home for my brother. Yes, indeed I did. Now, I don't believe that Emery really appreciates it. Yeah, I mean, what woman would give up her
I
entire
can
life for a
stand
man?
anything except your analysis and your analyzing of your friends and me. I don't want to look to the bottom of my soul.
I can understand that perfectly. We're all so sensitive about these things. But the truth disgusts us. Now, I have come to the conclusion that Emery is a law-baited homosexual.
A what?
Thank you. What does law-baited mean?
Well, it means covered up, concealed, like with a mask.
Maybe something that hasn't come to surface as yet.
You can say that again. If I'm a homosexual, they'd have to change the whole concept of what goes on among them.
Where you get that idea, Monica?
Well, pure association, of course, the best evidence of all. Now, Emery is 52 years old. He's never been married, and I do not believe that he has ever had a serious love affair.
How would you know if they're serious?
Emery, let's look at things objectively. Now, what are Emery's deepest interests in life? They are fishing, murder mysteries where housewives are dismembered, canasta, baseball games, and singing in male quartets. And how does Emery spend his Sundays? On a boat, with Reggie and other men, fishing. Now, are there women present on these occasions? There are not.
You're damn right there are not.
Now, I know y'all must be shocked by this, but you really shouldn't be. Homosexuality is tried as an incest. Subconsciously. Actually, Dr. Kettlebaum, now, he believed that it was all a matter of personal preference. Subconsciously, I've always had an incestuous fixation on Emery.
Oh.
Now, I know it's not natural, but that's the way it is.
Thanks a million, little sister. Couldn't we talk about something normal, like murder? Anyone mind if I smoke a cigar?
Oh, Emery, what are you trying to prove?
Let's relax away from the tea, the table here and have our tea over there.
Yes, we've run through sex. Now let's talk about homicide. Reggie, you're the expert.
Any change is for the better.
Alright, I'll oblige. I've been collecting data on Mrs. Allison lately.
Huh.
News Budget wants an article on her. I can't say she's a very flaming subject. Just an unimaginable nurse was in a position to kill off folks for their life insurance policies. Ran through quite a list before anybody found her out.
Look, was this recent?
Well, last year and the year before. She'd still be gone when she's too stupid to bury poisons, with the result that all her victims had similar symptoms. Nausea, burning throat, intestinal pains, and convulsions. To say nothing of the conventional life insurance policies made out to the old girl with the arsenic.
Please, I don't like to hear such things.
You don't?
No.
That's an interesting psychic block. Now, why do you think Monica dislikes hearing about murders?
Well, I've always had an aversion to violence. I even hate the revolver that Kenneth keeps in the house.
Now, do you dislike the revolver more than the poisons?
Oh, I hate them both.
Why don't we try saying the first thing that comes to your mind? Doesn't matter how silly it might seem to you, just say it. Reggie, tell your story and Christine will associate.
Oh, nonsense, Monica.
Yeah, what do you mean associate?
Well, the end of the story was like this. Towards the middle of May last year, Mrs. Allison visited her sister-in-law's family. She got there in time for lunch, but her niece Shirley reminded her that she promised to bring a present for her birthday. Mrs. Allison was so upset about forgetting the present that she went down to the neighborhood store and bought candy and soft drinks for her family.
Christine, what's on your mind?
Oh, absolutely nothing.
Actually, Mrs. Allison had bought her niece Shirley a present. It was 10 cents worth of arsenic.
There must be something on your mind. Something.
Well, what I was just thinking of was how devoted the Fern sisters were to my father when he was a radio commentator.
I don't understand that at all. So far. Now, how did you know of this?
Well, they told me when we entered Rhoda into their school.
Isn't your father Richard Bravo?
Yes.
I thought so. The whole nation was devoted to him during the last war.
Yes, I listen to Bravo every evening.
Reggie, isn't there more to the story?
Yes, when Mrs. Allison returned from the store, she opened a bottle of sarsaparilla for her niece and watched the little girl's convulsions for an hour.
Now, for your second association. Just say it. No skipping, no editing.
Okay, well then what I was thinking is even sillier. I've always had this feeling that I was an adopted child and that the Bravos weren't my real parents.
You poor, innocent little dear. Don't you know that the changeling fantasy is the commonest of childhood? Yes. I used to believe that I was a foundling of royal blood. Plantagenet, I think it was. And Emery was a Tudor. Now, when was it that you began to suspect that you were adopted?
I guess since I was a little girl, I constantly have dreams about it.
What kind of dreams?
Oh, Monica, must I tell you my dreams too? I'd rather hear about the murder mysteries, stories.
Well, yeah, Reggie, we'll hear more now from you, and then we'll hear more from Christine.
Why you always want to dig at people's insides? Monica, you're a ghoul.
Well, of course I am. Y'all are. Reggie, furnish the final details.
Well, Mrs. Allison hurried back to town on an urgent errand. She had paid the current premium on the policy on Shirley's life, and this was the last day of grace. Allison was certainly proved, but there've been other artists in her lines. Really gifted operators like Bessie Danker. Bessie never left a trace, never made a mistake, never committed an imperfect crime.
Who is this?
Oh, the most amazing woman in all the annals of homicide, Bessie Danker. She was beautiful, she was brainy, and she was ruthless. She never used the same poisons twice. Her own father, for example, died of rabies, contracted supposedly from a mad dog. Just happened that all his money went to Bessie.
Well, excuse me.
I think Christine has had enough of this. Reggie, couldn't we talk about something else?
Well, yes, we could, but I'm still puzzled.
No. I'm so sorry. No. Let's talk about your doctor friend, Dr. Kettlebomb.
If you leave it to Monica, she has 3 subjects: sex, psychiatry, and pills. Sex and psychiatry are synonymous. You better try pills.
By pills, Emra means the pharmaceutical discoveries that have revolutionized medicine since 1935. If you took them, Emra, you'd be a better man.
Oh, I should have looked at this before. I've got a lecture date at 3:30 and I won't be ahead of time if I start now. You will forgive me for filling the air with horror stories, Mrs. Penmark.
Oh, you must forgive me, Mr. Tasker. I have a phobia, a mania when it comes to these things.
I'm sick of the bloody stuff myself, but just keep with it to make a living. So let's be friends.
Of course.
I do have to go. Goodbye, Monica.
Goodbye, Bluebeard.
Goodbye, Reggie. I'll see you Sunday. I hear the redfish are running.
Oh, good.
Good night, sir.
I wonder if it wouldn't be about time for the radio. Do you mind, Christine?
No, go right ahead. I'll just go ahead and clear these off.
Oh, let me help you.
Oh, thank you, Monica.
Nothing more important has happened for many years in the fields of foreign affairs. I interrupt this broadcast I have been asked to announce that one of the children on the annual outing of the Fern Grammar School was accidentally drowned in the bay this afternoon.
What?
The name of the victim is being withheld until the parents are first notified. More news of the tragic affair is expected momentarily.
But she was there.
This is station WNB in Tallahassee.
Bringing you the 315 news, brought to you by Pickett's Hardware. Best for your home needs.
This couldn't have been wrong. No.
To return to local affairs, I am now authorized to give the name of the victim of the drowning at the Fern School picnic. It was Claude Daigle, the only child of Mr. and Mrs. Dwight Daigle of 126 Willow Street. He appears to have fallen into the water from an abandoned wharf on the Fern property. It is a mystery how the little boy got on the wharf, for all the children had been forbidden to play near or on it, but his body was found off the end of the landing, wedged among the pilings. The guards who brought up the body applied artificial respiration without result. There were bruises on the forehead and hands, but it is assumed these were caused by the body washing against the pilings. And now, back to the national news.
Oh, that poor child, that poor boy.
They'll send the children home immediately. I'm sure they're on their way.
Oh,
This will be the end of the picnic.
oh, Monica, I don't know what to say to her. Rhoda's 8. I remember I didn't know about death, or it didn't touch me closely until I was much older. A teacher I adored died, and my whole world changed and darkened.
We have to go.
Oh,
This is not something that we can help you with. We shouldn't be standing along by the sidelines.
but I don't know what to say to her. Oh,
You'll meet it better alone. Honestly, you will.
oh,
Christine, this is your time with Rhoda.
yes. Oh, but she will have missed lunch. I'll make her a sandwich.
Yes. Mhm.
Well, thank you both for being here.
We'll be upstairs if you need us.
Thank you.
Children get these shocks all the time. Life's a grim business.
Thank you.
Claude Daigle was drowned.
I know, it was on the radio.
He was drowned. So then they were all rushing and calling and hurrying to see if they could make him alive again. But they couldn't. So they said the picnic was over and we had to go home.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're home.
So could I have a peanut butter sandwich?
Did you see him, dear?
Yes, they put a blanket over him.
Oh, did you see him taken from the water?
Yes. They laid him on the lawn and worked, but it didn't help.
Oh, I want you to get those pictures right out of your mind. I don't want you to be worried or frightened. These things happen sometimes, and when they do, we simply accept them.
I thought it was exciting. So, could I have a peanut butter sandwich?
Oh, yes. I'm getting it ready for you. Here you are, dear. Darling, you're controlling yourself very well, but just the same, this was an unfortunate thing to see and remember. I understand how you feel, my darling.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't feel any way at all.
Rhoda, have you been naughty?
Why no, Mother? What will you give me if I give you a basket of kisses?
Well, I'd give you a basket of hugs. Oh.
I want to go out and ski on the asphalt.
Oh, then you should, my darling.
How come you go skating and enjoying yourself and your poor little classmate's still damp from drowning in the bay? Seems to me like you'd be in the house crying your eyes out. Either that or be in church burning a candle in a blue cup.
Bye, Mother! Bye, Rhoda!
Ask me and I'll say you don't even feel sorry for what happened to that little boy.
Why should I feel sorry? It was Claude Daigle that got drowned, not me.
Where were we? Then the knight alit from his steed and looked to see which way he could find out of this labyrinth. A path appeared and he began to make his way along it. The knight had not gone more than a dozen paces before he saw beside the path a beautiful lady who laid out a lovely cloth under an oak tree. On it sat cakes and dainties and a flagon with 2 silver cups.
Mommy,
Yes?
why aren't you reading?
Oh, I was just thinking, I guess.
What about the accident?
Well, partly, and about my phone call earlier. The servants were busy.
What are cakes and dainties?
Little cakes. I
juice. It's wonderful to have you read to me out here.
Well, you better take your third one now. You'll be too sleepy later to take it.
All right. I'll close my eyes, but I won't be asleep.
Oh, I know. The knight said,
Why, thank you, fair lady, for I am not only hungry and thirsty, but I am lost within the forest.
Then he feasted with the lady, who gave him loving looks, sweeter than the wine. The knight heard the music softly playing, and he perceived that a fair pavilion stood nearby under the oak trees. A torch lit the entrance where the servants were going to and fro. He was aware that it wasn't there before in the daylight, but was created out of the darkness by magic. Rhoda. Rhoda. Oh, darling. All right, I'll sleep. Oh, my dear. Hello? Yes, I did place a call from Washington, D.C. Richard Bravo? Bethesda 71293? That's correct. Daddy! Hi! Oh, I'm so glad I caught you at home. I've been trying to get you all evening. You said in your last letter that you might be coming out to Tallahassee? Well, are you sure you're well enough to do such things? Well, that's not really far from here. Do you think that you could come out and visit me? Could you? Oh, great. Oh, yeah, no, we're both well. Yes. Well, Daddy, do you remember when I was a little girl and I used to have those reoccurring dreams? Well, I've been having them again and again. Well, yeah, well, I know what the Freudians would say, but even they tell you that no dream can come out of any past but your own. Daddy, is there something terrible that happened in my past that I don't know about? Well, no, nobody. I was just asking questions. Oh, you saw Kenneth in Washington? Oh, tell him I love him and I miss him. I was just asking questions, Daddy. I'll behave. All right, but I will see you, won't I? All right. Well, I love you, Daddy. You take care, and I'll see you soon. Okay. Good night.
all of us at the school, and we've suffered such a blow losing one of the children that way. I'm sure you'll excuse us for going over and over things.
Yes, I think everybody's worried, puzzled, and saddened by this.
I don't think I've known any happening to puzzle so many people in so many ways, and I can help so few of them. But just come from seeing Mrs. Daigle, and of course our first thought was of her, for the rest of us are merely only touched lightly by this tragedy. She will have to live with it the rest of her days.
Oh, yes, I know.
I have seen her several times, and each time she has asked me to find out from you if you have any possible clue to know where the penmanship medal might be.
Oh, was it lost?
Well, yes, it wasn't found with the body and has completely disappeared.
Oh, well, I didn't know of this.
Good morning, Miss Fern.
Good morning, Rhoda.
Mother, could I go sit under the scuppernong arbor for a while and read my book?
Yes, of course.
It's shady there, and I can see your window, and you can watch me from the window, and I like being where you can see me.
Is it a new book?
Yes, Elsie Dinsmore, the one I got for a prize at Sunday school.
Well, I'll be here.
I'll be right there all the time. Goodbye, Miss Fern.
It did occur to me that Rhoda might have told you a detail or two she hadn't remembered when she talked with me. You see, she was the last to see the little Daigle boy alive.
Are you sure of that?
Yes.
I hadn't realized.
About an hour after we arrived at the estate, one of the older pupils came on Rhoda and the Daigle boy at the far end of the grounds. Well, the boy was upset and crying, and Rhoda was standing in front of him, blocking his path. The older girl was among the trees, so neither child saw her. She was just about to intervene when Rhoda shoved the boy and snatched at his medal, but he broke away and ran down the beach in the direction of the old wharf, where he was later found. Rhoda just followed him, not running, just walking along, taking her time, the older girl said.
Well, has it occurred to you that perhaps the older girl wasn't telling the truth?
Oh, no, that isn't at all likely. She's one of the monitors we appointed to keep an eye on the younger children. She's 15 and has been with us since kindergarten days. No, Mrs. Penmark, I'm afraid she was telling precisely what she saw. We know her well.
And this was the last time Claude was seen?
Yes. A little later, it might have been about noon, one of the guards saw Rhoda coming off the wharf. Well, he shouted a warning, but by then she was on the beach, and so he decided to forget the matter. The guard didn't identify the girl by name, but she was wearing a red dress, he said, and Rhoda was the only girl wearing a dress that day. At 1 o'clock, the lunch bell rang, and Claude was missing when the roll was called. Well, you know the rest, I think.
Well, yes. I mean, this is very serious. Oh, if Rhoda was on
No, not serious, really. When you have seen how children behave as much as I have, well, children conceal things from adults. Suppose Rhoda did follow the Daigle child onto the wharf. So many things could have happened quite innocently. He may have concealed himself in the old boathouse, and when discovered, he may have backed away and fallen in the water.
Yes, that could have happened.
Now, Claude, although he looked frail, was an excellent swimmer, and of course, Rhoda knew that. Well, when he fell in the water, she would have expected him to swim ashore. How could she know that the treacherous pilings were in the exact same spot where he fell?
No, she couldn't possibly.
Perhaps the thought in Rhoda's mind was that when he fell in the water, he'd ruin his new suit and she'd get a scolding for causing it. When he didn't swim ashore at once, she may have thought, with the logic of childhood, that he'd hidden under the wharf to frighten her or to escape her. Well, later on, when it was too late to do anything, she was afraid to admit what had happened.
So you think that Rhoda knows something that she isn't admitting?
Yes. Yes, I think that. Like many a frightened soldier, she deserted under fire. Well, this is not a serious charge. Few of us are courageous when tested.
Well, she has lied, though.
Oh, is there any adult who hasn't lied? Oh, my dear, smooth those lines from your brow. You're so much prettier when smiling.
I shall question Rhoda.
I wish you would, though I doubt you'll learn more than you know.
You know what, Miss Fern? I've been meaning to ask you. There was a floral tribute at Claude's funeral, provided by the children of the Fern School. I suppose the children all shared in the expense, but I have never been asked to pay any part of it.
Oh, the tribute wasn't nearly as expensive as the paper seemed to think. Well, the money has been collected and the flowers paid for.
Oh, well then perhaps you telephoned me and I was out?
No, my dear. We thought perhaps, well, you'd like to send flowers individually.
Why would we send flowers individually? Rhoda wasn't friendly with the boy, and my husband and I never even met the Daigles.
I don't know, my dear. There are three of us, and in the matter of making decisions...
Well, you make excuses for Rhoda, and then you admit to not asking me to help pay for the flowers. And the reasons that you give are obviously specious. Does this mean that in your mind and in the mind of your sisters that there's some sort of connection between the Daigle boy's death and Rhoda's presence on the war?
I refuse to believe there is any connection.
Well, and yet you have acted as if there were.
Well, yes, perhaps we have.
Well, this is a terrible tragedy for Miss Daigle, as you say. She's lost her only son. But if there is any shadow over Rhoda from what has happened, then my husband will have to live under it, and I shall have to live under it as well. You know what, Miss Fern? As for Rhoda, I don't think that she'd be happy in your school next year.
No, she would not. And since she would not, it would be best to make up our minds now that she will not be there.
Then you've already decided not to invite her back.
Yes, we have made that decision.
But you can't tell me why.
I would think her behavior in the matter of the medal would be sufficient explanation. Well, she has no sense of fair play. She doesn't play the game. She's a poor loser.
But you're not saying that Rhoda had anything to do with the Daigle boy's death.
Oh, we refuse to believe that there is any possibility.
And yet you have acted as if there were.
Yes, perhaps we have.
I must get that.
Of course, my dear.
Yes?
Thanks. We're Mrs. Daigle and Mr. Daigle. You didn't have to let us in, you know. You realize that we followed you here. We shouldn't have done it. I'm a little drunk. I guess you never get a little drunk.
You're quite welcome, both of you. Oh,
Pay no attention to him. He's all about good breeding. He was trying to stop me. Now you, Mrs. Penmark, you've always had plenty. You're a superior person.
no, I'm not.
Oh, yes. Father was rich. Rich Richard Bravo, I know. Me? I worked at a beauty parlor. Miss Fern used to come there. She looks down on me.
Mrs. Daigle, please.
I was that frumpy blonde. Now I've lost my boy. And I'm a lush. And everybody knows it.
We're worried about Mrs. Daigle. She's under a doctor's care. She hasn't been herself.
But I know what I'm about just the same. Just the same. May I call you Christine?
Of course.
I am quite aware that you come from a higher level of society. probably had a debut and all that. I always considered Christine a gentle name. Hortense sounds flat. That's me, Hortense. My girl Hortense. That's what they used to say to me. Never had much sense. Let's write her name on the privy fence.
Hortense, please.
Children can be quite nasty, don't you think?
Hortense.
You are so attractive, Christine. You have exquisite taste in clothes. And again, you got apples of money to buy them with. What I came here for. I asked Miss Fern, how did Claude happen to lose the medal? And she wouldn't tell me a thing.
I don't know, Mrs. Daigle, truly.
You know more than what you're telling. You're a sly one for the school. You don't want that school to get a bad name, but you know more than what you're telling. Miss Butter won't melt Fern. There's something funny about this whole thing. I've been saying so over and over again to Mr. Daigle. He married quite late, you know, in his 40s. Then again, I wasn't what the fella calls a spring chicken either. We won't have any more children. No more.
Hortense, please. Let's go home. You can rest.
Rest. Sleep. If you can't sleep at night, you can't sleep in the daylight. I just lay there and stare at the water where it went down. There's something funny about this whole thing, Christine. I heard your little girl was the last one to see him alive. Could you ask her about the last few minutes? Tell me what she says. Maybe she remembers some little something. I don't care how small it is. No matter how small. Want to know something? Miss Fern dyes her hair. She knows something. She knows something and she won't tell me. Oh, my poor little Claude. What did they do to you?
Oh, I shall question Rhoda, Hortense. If only I knew.
Somebody took the medal off of his shirt, Christine. It didn't come off by accident. I pinned it on him myself. It had a little clasp and it locked. It wasn't an accident. You can wear such simple things, can't you? I never could wear simple things. I couldn't even buy them. When I got them home, they didn't look simple. He was such a lovely, dear little boy. He used to say I was a sweetheart. Told me he was going to marry me when he grew up. I would just laugh and say, oh, you'll forget about me long before then. You'll meet a prettier girl and you'll marry her. And you know what he said then? He said, no, I won't. Because there's not a prettier girl in the whole world than you are. And if you don't believe me, you can ask the girl that comes in to clean. She was present at the time.
Hortense. Hortense.
Oh, you don't have to put your arms around me. You don't give a damn about me. You're a superior person. And I'm... Oh, God forgive me. There were those bruises on his hands. and that peculiar crescent-shaped mark on his forehead that the undertaker had to cover up. He must have bled before he died. That's what the doctor said. What happened to the medal? Who took the medal? I have a right to know what happened to the penmanship medal. If I knew, I'd have a better idea what happened to him. You took it upon yourself to put your arms around me. I'm just as good as you are. And Claude was better than your girl. He won the medal and she did it. And I'm drunk. It is a pleasure to stay drunk when your little boy's been killed. Maybe I better lay down.
Hortense, please. Hortense, please, let's go home. You can lie down there. Come on, sweetheart.
Why not? Why not? Why not go home and go to bed? Good night, all.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, who cares what they think? I drank a half a bottle of bonded corn in a little sips. I'm as drunk as holy hell.
Oh, that poor woman. Oh, I've tried every little thing I could tell her, but nothing helps.
No, nothing will ever help.
No, I should be going, but thank you for bearing with her and with me.
Yes, well, I'll talk to Rhoda. Nothing will ever help that poor creature, but I'll do what I can.
We both have to do what we can. Goodbye, Mrs. Penlock.
Goodbye, Miss Fern. She'll have to live with this until she dies.
Yes, until she dies. Thank you.
Hello? Hello? Oh, speaking. Kenneth, darling. Hi. Oh, the little boy who's drowned? Oh, no. Rhoda's her usual self. She's outside playing across the street, reading a book. Yeah, I just waved to her. Do you really, darling? Oh, I miss you too. Do you know how much longer? 4 weeks. 4 weeks is a long, long time. All right, my darling. Well, write as often as you can. And Kenneth, I love you. Oh, no, don't be late. Okay, take care. Bye. Oh, Monica!
Christine, just the fluttery one with a typically inane conversation. But I do have an errand to run today, so no time for gaps.
Come on in, please.
Well, I'm using Rhoda's necklace as an excuse. I actually found someone who could change the stone and clean it in one day.
Oh, nice.
Well, not that they agreed to this task without a little bit of pressure. Well, actually, I had to threaten them.
Oh, Monica, not really.
Oh, no, you don't know this old busybody, do you? No, she uses pressure, influence, bribery, blackmail, and I use every one of them on old Mr. Payson. Well, he told me he couldn't do the job for 2 weeks.
You know what? I'll get the locket. I know where she keeps it.
Now, I had to remind him that I am in charge of the community chest again this year, and if he were really as busy as all that, well, I'd have to revise my estimate of his contribution upward by a considerable amount. Oh, good. Oh, that little girl, she keeps her treasures so carefully. Kind of a miserly delight.
Shall I wrap it?
No. I'll just drop it in my purse. Now, I'm off to the air. Now, do forgive me for bursting in and rushing out.
Oh, no ceremony, please.
No ceremony, no. Just pure pragmatism. Goodbye, darling.
Goodbye, Monica. Thank you. Oh.
Did you want me to come in, Mother, when you waved?
So you had the penmanship medal after all. Claude Daigle's medal.
Where'd you find it?
How did the penmanship medal end up in your drawer? I want you to tell me the truth.
When we move to our new house, can we have Scuppernong Arbor, Mother? Can we? It's so shady and pretty, and I love sitting.
Answer my question. And remember, I'm not as innocent about what went on at the picnic as you think. Miss Fern has told me a great deal, so don't bother making up any story for my benefit. How did Claude Daigle's medal happen to be hidden under the lining of your drawer? It certainly didn't get in there by itself. I'm waiting for your answer.
I don't know how the medal got there, Mother.
Oh, you know! You know very well how it got there. Did you go on the wharf at any time during the picnic? At any time?
Yes, I went there once.
Was this before or after you were bothering Claude?
I wasn't bothering Claude, Mother. What makes you think that?
Why did you go on the wharf?
It was real early when we first got there.
Why did you go on the wharf? You knew it was forbidden.
One of the big boys said little oysters grow in pine leaves, and I want to see if they did.
One of the guards said that he saw you coming off the wharf a little before lunchtime.
I don't know why he says that. He's wrong. I told Miss Fern he was wrong. He hollered at me to come off the wharf, and I did. I went back on the lawn, and that's where I saw Claude. But I wasn't bothering him.
Well, what did you say to Claude?
I said, if I didn't win the medal, I was glad he did.
Oh, Rhoda, please. I know you're an adroit liar, but I must know the truth.
But it's all true, Mother, every word.
One of the monitors said that she saw you try to snatch at the medal. Is that true? Every word?
Oh, that big girl is Mary Beth Musgrove. She told everybody she saw me. Even Leroy knows she saw me. You see, Claude and I were just playing a game we made up. He said if I could catch him in 10 minutes and touch the medal with my hand, it was like prisoner's base. He let me wear the medal for an hour. How can Mary Beth say I took the medal? I didn't.
She didn't say that you took the medal. She said that you grabbed at it, and then Claude went running down the beach. Did you have the medal then? Even then?
No, not then.
How did you get the medal?
Oh, I got it later on.
How?
Well, Claude went back on his promise, and I followed him up the beach. Then he stopped, and he said I could wear them out all day if I gave him 50 cents.
Rhoda, stop that. Is that the truth?
Yes, Mother. I gave him 50 cents, and he let me wear the medal.
Well, then why didn't you tell this to Miss Fern when she questioned you?
Oh, Mommy, Miss Fern doesn't like me at all. I was afraid she'd think bad things about me if I told her I had the medal.
Well, you know how much Miss Daigle wanted the medal, didn't you?
Yes, I guess I did.
Well, she's heartbroken by this. She may never recover from Claude's death. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I guess so.
No, I don't think you know what I mean.
But it was silly to want to have the medal pinned on Claude's coat. Claude was dead. He wouldn't have known whether he had the medal pinned on him or not. Oh, I got the prettiest mother. I thought I got the nicest teeth mother in the whole entire world. And if she wanted a little boy that bad, why didn't she just get one out of the orphan's home?
Oh, Rhoda, get away from me. We have nothing to say to each other.
Okay, Mother.
Rhoda, Baltimore, there was an old lady that lived upstairs, Miss Clara Post. She liked you very much. You used to go up and see her every afternoon. She was very old and liked to show you all her treasures. And one that you admired most was a crystal ball in which opals floated. The old lady promised this to you when she died. Well, one afternoon, when the daughter was away at the supermarket, and you were alone with the old lady, she somehow managed to slip down the spiral staircase and break her neck. You said that she heard a kitten meowing, went out to see about it, missed her footing, slipped, and fell 5 flights down to the courtyard below. You then asked the daughter for that crystal ball, and it's still hanging at the head of your bed today.
Yes, Mother.
Rhoda, did you have anything to do, anything at all, no matter how small, with Claude Daigle getting drowned?
What makes you ask that, Mother?
Come here, Rhoda. Look me in my eyes. I must know.
No, Mother, I didn't.
You're not going back to the Fern School next year. They don't want you there.
Okay.
I'll call Miss Fern and have her come over.
But you think I lied to her?
You did lie to her.
But not to you, Mother, not to you!
Hello? Yes, Fern School? Miss Claudia Fern, please. Oh, no message. Thank you. She's not home.
What would you have told her, Mother?
What would I have told her? It can't be true. It can't be.
Anybody here?
Hello, Aunt Monica.
Oh, hi, honey.
Mother!
Christine, you said I might have Rhoda for a little while. Oh, and here's a package for you.
Oh, thank you, Monica. You're always the bringer of gifts.
Oh, this is from someone else that was in the package room.
Oh, to Rhoda from Daddy.
For me?
Yes. In anticipation of her 9th birthday.
What does anticipation mean?
It means looking forward to it.
Well, not to be open till.
Oh, it's a long time to wait, but I will.
Oh, what a perfect little princess. She'll wait.
No, wait, there's more in Daddy's writing. Open when you get it. There will be a real one later.
But then he wants me to open it now.
Yes.
There's Excelsior. I can see it.
That should be open in the kitchen, Rhoda.
Okay.
Thank you.
I wish she were mine. Oh, every time I look at her, I wish I had just such a little girl.
Well, she's not wanted at the Fern School next year.
Why?
Because she's a poor sport. She doesn't play the game. She doesn't fit in.
You know, the longer I live, the more I see. I will never understand the tight little minds of people like those Fern girls. Ugh. You know, the truth of the matter is, Rhoda's just too charming, too clever, too unusual for them. Well, she makes the others look stupid and stodgy by comparison. Evelyn?
Oh, no thank you. I seem to have quit.
Seem to have? Good God. If I were to quit, you'd hear the repercussions in New Orleans. No, I string along with St. Paul. It's better to smoke than burn. Oh, can Rhoda stay up and have dinner with me tonight?
Oh, yes, actually. I've invited Reginald Tasker over for some cocktails. And to ask him some questions about some writing I want to try.
That's fine. You know, the last thing she needs to hear about it are his strychnines and belladonnas. Rhoda, you're going to have dinner with me tonight.
I am. May I bring my new puzzle?
Well, of course you may.
Is that what it was?
I think it must be the best jigsaw puzzle in the whole world.
You're right.
Oh, Leroy, there's a lot of Excelsior.
Yes, surely, ma'am.
It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle of Asia with all the animals.
Oh, I have an aversion to cobras. Let's roll it in.
There's a lot of this stuff scattered around, Miss Love.
I'll get it.
No, he'll get it. And now, let's go and check on my simmering meat sauce.
Ooh, is it spaghetti?
Oh, yes, you approve?
My favorite.
Oh, good. Well, come up any time. It'll be nearly done.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, thank you. Christine, looks like you have a telegram.
Thank you, Monica. Oh, wow.
Is it Daddy?
Not your daddy this time, mine. It's grandfather, and he's coming here tonight.
Grandfather?
Yes. He can stay. You know what? I think Monica has a room. I better go ask her. I'll be right back.
There she sits at a little table, doing a puzzle, and looking cute and innocent. Looking like she wouldn't melt butter. She's that cool. She can fool some people with that innocent look she can put on and off when she wants to. Not me. Not even partway. She can't fool me. She don't want to talk to nobody smart. She likes to talk to people she can fool, like her mama and Mrs. Breedlove and Mr. Emery.
Go to the Excelsior. I know what you do with the Excelsior. You made a bed of Excelsior in the garage behind that old couch. And you sleep there where nobody can see you.
I've been way behind the times heretofore. But now I got your number, miss. I've been hearing things about you that ain't nice. I've been hearing that you beat up that poor little Claude in the woods. And it took all three of the Fern sisters to pull you off him. I heard you run him off the wharf. He was so scared.
If you tell lies like that, you won't go to heaven when you die.
I heard plenty. I listen to people when they talk. Not like you, who's always gabbling. Won't let anybody get in a word edgewise. That's why I know what people are saying and you don't.
People tell lies all the time. I think you tell more lies than anybody.
I know what you've done to that boy when you got him out on the wharf. You better listen to me if you want to keep out of bad trouble.
What did I do if you know so much?
You picked up a stick. Hit him with it. You hit him because he wouldn't give you that medal like you told him to. I thought I'd seen some mean little girls in my time. You're the meanest. You want to know how mean you are? Because I'm mean. I'm smart and I'm mean. And you're smart and you're mean. And I never get caught. And you never get caught.
I know what you think. I know everything you think. Nobody believes anything you say.
You want to know what you did after you hit that boy? You jerked that medal off his shirt. And then you rolled that sweet little boy off the wharf among them pirates. You know I'm speaking of God's truth. You know I got it figured out.
You figured out something that never happened. And so it's all lies. Take your Excelsior down to the garage and put it where you can sleep on it when you're supposed to be working.
Yeah, Well, you ain't no dope. That I must say. That's why you didn't leave that stick where nobody could find it. Oh, no. You got better sense than that. You took that bloody stick and washed it off good. And then you threw it in the woods where nobody could find it.
I think you're a silly man.
It was you who was silly. Because you thought you could wash off blood, and you can't.
Why can't you wash off blood?
Because you can't. And the police know it. You can wash. There's always gonna be some left. Everybody knows that. I gotta call the police. Tell them to start looking for that stick in the woods. They got what they call stick bloodhounds to help them look. And them stick bloodhounds can find any stick there is that's got blood on it. When they bring in that stick you washed so clean, the police are gonna sprinkle some of that special blood powder on it. And that little boy's blood is gonna show up on the stick. It'll show up a bright, pretty blue color like a robin's egg.
You're scared of the police yourself. Shh. What you say about me is all about you. No game with that powder.
As far as I'm concerned, I wish there was more Excelsior. I could use it.
What were you saying to Rhoda, Leroy?
Why, Miss Penmark, we was just talking. She said it was a big box of Excelsior.
Just the same, you're not to speak to her. If you do, I will report you. Is that entirely clear?
I started, Mama. I told you it was a puzzle of Asia, and I hardly know where anything is in Asia.
Don't speak to her.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you're really working in the dark, dear. I think you strain your eyes doing such things.
Mother, is it true that when blood has been washed off anything, a policeman can still find it? And if he puts powder on the place, will it really turn blue?
Who's been talking to you about such things? Leroy?
No, Mommy, it wasn't he. It was some men went by the gate in the park.
Oh, well, I don't know how they wash off blood, but I could ask Reginald Tasker or Miss Fern. She might know.
Oh no, Mommy, don't ask her. Mommy, nobody helps me. Nobody believes me. I'm a little girl. I'm all alone.
It's not a very good act, Rhoda. You could improve upon it and convince somebody that doesn't know you, but at present, it's easy to see through.
Maybe I better go up to Monica's and have dinner.
Yes, she said at any time. Oh, good evening, Mr. Tasker.
Good evening.
This is my daughter, Rhoda.
Hello, Rhoda. Ain't she a little sweetheart?
Thank you.
That type of thing makes an old bachelor wish he was married.
You like little girls to curtsy?
It's the best thing left out of the Middle Ages.
I'm having dinner upstairs.
The loss is ours. All ours.
You may go now, Rhoda.
Yes, Mommy.
It's a little ray of sunshine, that one, ain't she?
Oh, I've seen her stormy.
No doubt. She's gonna make a man very happy someday, just that smile.
Since I've called you, I've had a wire from my father. He'll be here tonight. It's been about a year since I've seen him.
Bravo's coming.
Yes.
Now, there's a man I've always wanted to meet.
He said it won't be too long. Perhaps for dinner?
Good. By the way, if you're thinking of writing mystery stories, Bravo was quite an authority on crimes and criminals early in his career.
Oh, yes. I know he was.
Could probably help you more than I could. Before I began covering wars, he covered practically all the horror cases, from Leopold, Loeb, from on.
What will it be?
A gin and tonic.
Great. I'll have one too. You see, the question I was thinking about asking, obviously, was a psychological question. Only, I doubt it has been asked. If it has been, until recently.
I may not know all answers.
Well, perhaps nobody does. But the story I was thinking about writing made me wonder. Tell me, do children ever commit murders, or is crime something that is learned and grows gradually as the criminal grows up, so that only adults do dreadful things?
Well, I have thought about that, and so have several authorities I've consulted lately. Yes, children have committed murders, and quite clever ones too. Some murderers, practically the distinguished ones, who are going to make great names for themselves, start amazingly early.
In childhood?
Oh yes, just like mathematicians and musicians. Poets develop later. There's been nothing worthwhile in poetry written between 18 or 20. Mozart showed his genius at 6. Pascal was a master mathematician at 12. And some of the great criminals were top-flight operators before they were out of short pants and pinafores.
And they grew up in the slums amongst criminals and learned from their environment, would you say? I wonder if that could be Father.
If it is, I'd like to stay and see him a moment.
Oh, that's understood. Daddy!
Hello, darling. I'm early.
Oh, yay! You're here. You're actually here.
I guess I am somewhat of a truant, but you said you wanted to see me, and I wanted to see you.
Oh, I'm so glad. This is Reginald Tasker, Father.
One of my favorites.
Puts you to sleep regularly?
Sometimes keeps me awake. You've done some pretty incredible research for the Classic Crime Club.
Now, I've always said the greatest papers they ever printed were by Richard Bravo.
That old dodo? No, he's written himself out and talked himself out, and now he's wandering about the country for a second-rate news service.
You really looking into this offside oil?
That's what they've got me doing, but I haven't left them. For the moment, anyway. I wanted to see my long-lost daughter.
I sometimes wanted to ask you if you thought about coming back into the criminology racket. But nobody liked you since you left.
Well, all compliments aside, my later books didn't do as well as my early ones. So the war came along, and now I write filler.
You've written some things that won't be forgotten.
Let's hope.
And now your daughter's going to try a hand.
At writing? She can't even spell.
Well, I do get lonely with Kenneth away. So I thought I'd try my hand at writing murder stories in the evenings.
And you're encouraging this competition?
Well, I was rather stumped by her last question. She was asking whether criminal children are the result of environment.
Nothing difficult about that little one. They are. Say, can I have a little of that wicked mixture you're lapping up?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Daddy. Do you really believe that children are a product of their environment?
Always.
I couldn't prove you wrong, of course, but some doctor friends of mine assured me that we've been putting too much emphasis on environment and too little on heredity lately. They say there's a type of criminal born with no capacity for remorse or guilt, born with the kind of brain that may have been normal among humans 50,000 years ago.
And you believe this?
Yes, I guess I do.
Well, I don't.
I've been convinced that there are such people, only a few and certainly very unfortunate, who are incapable from the beginning of acquiring a conscience or a moral character, not even able to love except physically, no feeling for right or wrong.
Well, I've heard such assertions, but never found any evidence to back them up. If you encounter a human without compassion, pity, or morals, he was raised in a society, in a family that didn't encourage those things. That's final, and the stuff you're talking is Tommy.
Well, do your doctor friends have any evidence, Mr. Tasker?
They can't prove it yet, but they think there are such people. They say there are children born into the best families with every advantage of education and discipline, never acquire any moral scruples. It's as if they were born blind. And expect to teach them to see.
Well, did they look like brutes?
Are you sold on this?
Well, I want to find out.
Sometimes, but oftentimes they present a more convincing picture of virtue than normal folk. Wax rosebud or plastic peach can look more perfect than the real thing. They imitate humanity beautifully.
Oh, that's horrible.
And some have done some pretty horrible things and kept on looking innocent and sweet.
I'd like to examine the evidence. Until we do, there's not much sense in discussing it.
Well, I'd like to go into it, Mr. Bravo. You see, this clinic I frequent came long ago to the conclusion that there are bad seeds, just aimed at from the beginning, and nothing can change them.
And this favorite murderess of yours, the one that you spoke of the other day, is she an instance?
Bessie Dacre?
Uh-huh.
She a bad seed? Well, maybe because the death started so early in her vicinity. Bessie earned her sobriquet, the Destroying Angel, early in childhood.
Oh, so she started young.
Oh, yes. The term wasn't applied to her till much later when the news of her whole career came out. But Bessie was lethal and accurate from the beginning. One of her most famous murders involved the use of a deadly amanita, a mushroom known as the Destroying Angel. It was a clever reporter who transferred the term to her. In fact, it was a colleague of Mr. Bravo's, unless I missed something.
Oh,
It may have been, I don't know.
how did she end?
Well, Mr. Bravo knows it more than I do.
I've forgotten the whole thing. Put it out of my mind. I'm in oil now.
How did she end?
You don't want to delve into this, sweetheart.
Yes, I do.
Can we just change the subject?
No, Daddy, I want to find out. Tell me, Mr. Tasker, how did she end?
There's the mystery. By the time authorities got really aroused by her, she disappeared from the Middle West. She seemed to vanish. The fellow who knows most about her maintains that she went to Australia. Similar beauty emerged in Melbourne. Her name was Beulah Demarest. So if it was the same person, she didn't have to change the initials on her silver linen.
Well, how did she kill so many and leave no trace? That doesn't...
You wrote a famous essay listing all her methods. You must know it better than I do.
Not at all. I've dropped all that. Haven't read the recent literature.
Did she ever use any violence?
Forgive me, sir. I'll make it quick. She made a specialty of poisons, studied not only drugs and toxins, but the lives of those she wished to kill. It's practically impossible to prove murder when a victim dies of rattlesnake venom in western Colorado. Too many diamondbacks about. And tetanus can be picked up in any barnyard. She made use of such things. It all came to a sudden end. She was indicted again and took off for parts unknown, leaving no... But wasn't there a child? A little girl?
Haven't heard of one. Must be a recent addition to the myth.
I have one more question. Was she ever found out? Here?
Not in this country. 3 juries looked at that dewy face and heard that melting, cultured voice and said, she couldn't have done it.
She wasn't convicted?
Not guilty. 3 times.
And do you think she's one of those poor, deformed children? Born without pity?
Personally, I do.
Did she have an enchanting smile?
Dazzling by all accounts.
Oh. She was doomed.
Absolutely. Doomed to commit murder after murder until somehow or other she was found out.
Oh, she would have been better off if she would have died young.
And society would. And sometimes I wonder if these malignant brutes will be the mutation that survives on the planet in this age. Or this age of technology and murder for empire. Maybe the softies will have to go and the snake-hearted will inherit the earth.
I'm betting on the democracies.
And so am I. But we're living in an age of murder. Never have there been so many people murdered as in our century. Out of all the people murdered at the beginning of history all the way to 1900, then out of all the murders after 1900 and our century wins. All alone. And on that merry note, I think I should take my leave. For I've been lecturing and I've met not to bother.
You've got a highly questionable theory there about heredity.
Well, I like to go into when there's more time.
Well, let's do that next time I'm in town.
Right. And now I'll be saying good evening, Mrs. Pedmark. I'm afraid the pleasure's been all mine.
Of course. I'll call you sometime next week.
I'm always about. Good night, sir.
Good night, Mr. Tasker.
Good night.
Are you really planning to write something?
Oh, I was just asking questions. You saw Kenneth in Washington?
Yes, he's doing well as any fellow who's hot, sticky, tired, and somewhat lonesome.
Oh, yeah, well, we meant to go somewhere for the summer, but there was a sudden change of orders, and you know how that goes.
Am I looking too close, or is there something heavy on your mind?
Does something show in my face?
Everything shows in your face. It always did.
Well, I'm not sure I'm worried about anything now that you're here. I've always felt so safe and comfortable in the room when you're in the room. You have that same effect on me now.
To tell you the truth, you did a magic for me. I'd always wanted a little girl, and you were everything lovely a little girl could be for old Dad. But Christine, what was it that you wanted to tell me that night you phoned?
Oh, let me think a minute. Would you like another drink?
Yes, I guess I will. Let me fix something.
Okay.
Will you have a little gin and tonic?
Oh, no, thank you.
Okay. And speak up, darling. It's between us, whatever it is.
Well, my landlady here is a bit of a amateur psychiatrist, a devotee to Freud, consistently analyzing.
I know the sort.
Her name is Breedlove. You'll meet her because she's promised a wonderful room for you to stay in while you're here. Rhoda's up having dinner with her tonight.
You were going to come out with something.
Yes, well, what I was thinking of reminded me of her. You see, I had confessed to her the other day that I have always had this feeling that I was an adopted child. And that the mommy that I love so much wasn't my real mother. And the best daddy in the world wasn't really mine.
What did she say?
Well, she said it's the commonest of all childhood fantasies. But that doesn't help me much because I still feel just as strongly as ever. That old feeling, that fear that you're not really mine.
It certainly is common.
But it doesn't help.
Has something made you feel this way lately?
Yes. My little girl Rhoda.
What about her?
She terrifies me. I'm afraid for her. I'm afraid of what she may have inherited from me.
What could she have inherited?
Well, Daddy, whose child am I?
Mine.
Daddy dear, please don't lie to me. We've gone way beyond where that will help. I told you about a dream I've had. Only I'm not sure it's just a dream. Are you my father? I'm sorry. I know this is a strange question to greet you with after being away so long, but I must ask it. And for Rhoda's sake and mine, please tell me the truth.
What has Rhoda done?
I don't know, but I'm afraid.
It can't be inherited. It cannot.
Father! You're not well. Are you okay?
I'm all right. Give me a glass of water.
Okay.
Quite all right. A bit of fibrillation. Perfectly normal at my age. Thank you. Thank you. And with fibrillation, there's a little bit of dizziness, also normal. I'll be all right.
I'm sorry. I won't ask any more questions.
I think that'd be better. Let's just close the book.
Only, I have the answer now.
The answer? Oh, I've always been a very fortunate man, Christine. I could give you a long history of jobs that came in the nick of time. Of lost money found. Of friends who showed up to pay old debts just when I needed to have the money. It seemed that every turning point in my life, some good fairy has intervened to flip things my way. And the biggest piece of luck I ever had, the luck that saved my reason and kept me going, was a little girl named Christine. You were the only child I ever had. My life was futile and barren before you came, but you did magic for me, as I said. And you made life bearable. I changed my way of life. I wrote about other things, but I kept on. Because of you.
You don't have to say anymore.
I don't, do I?
No. You found me somewhere.
Yes, in a very strange place. In a strange way.
I know the place.
I don't know, you could. You were less than 2 years old.
Well, I either remember it or I dreamt it.
What kind of dream?
Like, I dreamed of a bedroom in a farmhouse on the countryside where there's orchards. I shared the room with my brother, and he is older than I. My mother comes in to take care of him. She's a graceful woman, beautiful like an angel. I guess my brother must have died, for I'm alone in the room. And I wake up, terrified, and I can't stay in that house. It's moonlight out, and I somehow manage to climb out the window and fall to the tall grass below. I make my way through the tall grass, and I get to the first orchard. I don't remember much, other than it's morning and I'm thirsty, and I keep eating the yellow pippins that fall from the trees. The first sunlight hits the clouds, and I can hear my mother some distance away calling my name. Only I don't answer her, and I hide because I'm afraid. Is this a dream? Is it only a dream?
What name did she call?
Well, it isn't Christine. Could it be Ingold? Ingold.
You remember that name?
Yes, Ingold. Yeah, Ingold Denker. Denker! Daddy, you've concealed something from me all these years, haven't you?
It was the neighbors who found me. Found you after your mother vanished.
You found me there.
Where she went, I never knew, nor did they.
Oh.
But she had quite a fortune by that time. And something panicked her, so she quickly got away, leaving one child, an amazingly beautiful little thing with the most enchanting smile I've ever seen. I was working the case for the Chicago paper, and I wired my wife to come join me. We couldn't resist you.
Why didn't you leave me there?
It was the neighbors who found you and saved you. Would you rather stay with them?
No, I wouldn't have. You've been a wonderful father. But that woman in that terrible place, that woman, my mother. Oh.
Oh, there are places and events in every man's life you'd rather not remember. But don't let this hurt you now. It's past. It can't touch you.
Oh, I wish you would have died then. I wish it.
It hasn't mattered where you came from. You were sound and sweet and loving. You've given me so much more than I could ever repay. If you'd been my own, I couldn't have hoped for more. You knew nothing but love and kindness from us. And you've given love and kindness and sweetness all your life. Kenneth loves you, and you've made him happy. And Rhoda's a perfect, sweet, sound little girl.
Is she, Father? Is she?
What has she done?
I don't know. It's as if she was born blind.
It cannot happen. It does not happen.
Excuse me, Rhoda has, she's finished her dinner, she's sick of her puzzle, and she wants a book.
Oh, well, we haven't even started dinner yet.
And I haven't met Mr. Bravo. Oh, how do you do? I'm Monica Breedlove, the oversized analyst, and I'll be putting you up. And I promise not to annoy you.
You know what newspaper men are like. Crusty, bitter, irascible.
Oh.
If you can put up with me, you're a saint.
Oh, Granddaddy!
Oh, Rhoda.
Oh, isn't she perfection?
Thanks, Daddy. You give me the best hugs. Why do you look at me?
I want to see your face.
Oh, Now, Mr. Bravo, these Rhoda's mama and daddy they are the most enchanting neighbors I have ever had. Now, I shall want Rhoda to dinner every night. Now, Mr. Bravo, didn't you write the fingerprint series?
Oh, I guess I'm guilty of that about 20 years ago.
Oh, I read the first volume to pieces, and I wept over every page I loved until they were illegible. And then I bought another.
I finally met my public.
Oh, I don't disappoint you? Well, I am Lord.
I like the way you read books to pieces. It's good for royalties.
It's time for dinner for us.
Maybe I should find my room and get ready for the evening.
Oh, well, I'll take you up if you're ready now.
If you'd be so kind.
Yes, it's just on the next level. We'll be back, Christine.
All right, Monica, thank you.
After you.
Oh, thank you.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Is that for the incinerator?
Yes.
What is it?
Something to tell me throw away.
Oh, what is it? Let me see. Oh! You hit him with those shoes, didn't you? That's all those half-moon marks got on his forehead and his hands. Tell me the truth. Answer me. You hit him with those shoes, didn't you?
I had to, Mother. What else could I have done?
Oh, do you know that you murdered him?
It was his fault. He should have given me the medal like I told him to, and I wouldn't have hit him.
Rhoda, this time I want you to tell me the truth. I know that you murdered him, so there's no sense in lying again.
No, Mother, I can't tell you.
Rhoda, I want you to tell him! I'm waiting for your answer.
He wouldn't give me the medal like I told him to. That's all. So, then he ran away from me and hid on the wharf. But I found him, and I told him I hid with my shoe if he didn't give me the medal. And he shook his head and said no. So, I hit him the first time. And then he took off the medal and gave it to me.
Then what happened?
Well, he tried to pull himself. Well, he tried to run away. So I kept hitting him. And he kept crying and making a noise. And I was afraid someone would hear him. So I kept hitting him. I hit him harder that time. And then he fell into the water.
Oh my goodness. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Oh, I've got the prettiest mother. I've got the nice mother. I tell him I've got the prettiest, nice.
How do the bruises get on the back of his hands?
He tried to pull himself back on the wharf. And I wouldn't have kept hitting him, only he kept saying he was going to tell on me. Don't let them hurt me, Mommy.
No, I won't let anybody hurt you. I don't know what must be done now, but nobody will hurt you.
I want to play the way we used to. Will you play with me?
Oh.
If I give you a basket of kisses, what will you give me?
Please, Rhoda, please.
Can you give me the answer if I give you a basket of kisses?
Rhoda, go up to your room. I must think of what to do. And promise me you won't tell anybody what you told me.
Why would I tell him to get killed?
Rhoda, what happened to old Miss Post in Baltimore? I know so much. Another won't matter now.
Well, there was ice on the steps, and I slipped and fell against her, and that was all.
And that was all?
No. I slipped on purpose.
Rhoda, take the shoes. Here, take the shoes and put them in the incinerator.
I'll tell him. Goodbye. I found out about what I you told. There's no such thing as a stick bloodhound.
I'm not supposed to talk to little Miss Goody Goody.
Then don't.
Where's your mama?
Upstairs.
For your own sake, though, I'll tell you this much. There may not be any stick bloodhounds, but there's a stick. And you better find that stick before they do, because it'll turn blue. And then they'll fry you in the electric chair.
There wasn't any stick. Any more than there was a stick bloodhound.
You know the sound the electric chair makes? It goes and then you swivel all up the way bacon does when your mother's frying it.
Go empty the garbage. They don't put little girls in an electric chair.
They don't. They got a little blue chair for little boys, and a little pink one for little girls. I just thought of something. I just remembered. Just the day of the picnic, I wiped off those shoes you had with cleats on them. You used to go tap, tap, tap when you walked. How come you don't wear them anymore?
You're silly. I never had a pair of shoes like that.
They go tap, tap on the walk, and I didn't like it. I spilled water on them, and then I wiped it off.
They hurt my feet, and I gave them away.
You know one thing? You didn't hit that boy with no stick. You hit him with your shoes. Ain't I right this time?
You're silly.
You think I'm silly because I said about the stick. All I was trying was to make you say, no, it wasn't no stick. It was my shoes, because I knew what it was.
You lie all the time. All the time.
How come I got those shoes then?
Where'd you get them?
I came right in and got them right out of your apartment.
And it's just more lies. I burnt those shoes. I put them down in the incinerator and burnt them. Nobody's got them.
I don't say that wasn't smart. That was. Only, suppose I heard something coming rattling down the incinerator. And I said to myself, sounds to me like a pair of shoes with cleats. Well, I don't say you didn't burn them a little, but you didn't burn all of them up like you wanted to.
Yes.
Now listen to this and figure out which of us is the silly one. I'm down in the basement working, and I hear them shoes come rattling down the pipe. I open the door quick, and there they is on top of the coals, only smoking the least little bit. I grab them out. Oh, they're scorched some. But there's still plenty left to turn blue to show where the blood is. There's still plenty to put you in the electric chair.
Give me back my shoes.
Oh no, I got them shoes and nobody but me can find them.
You better give me back my shoes, Leroy. They're mine. Give them back to me.
I ain't giving them shoes back to nobody, see?
Give me back my shoes, Leroy.
I'm keeping them shoes until... Who said I had anybody's shoes except mine?
You did. You get them and you bring them back. Right here to me.
Now listen, Rhoda, I was only fooling and teasing you. I haven't got any shoes. I got work to do.
Give me back my shoes.
I haven't got nobody's shoes. Don't you know when anybody's teasing you?
Give them back.
Go and practice your piano lesson. I haven't got them, I keep telling you.
Will you bring them back?
I was just fooling at first. But now I really believe you killed that little boy. I really believe you did kill him with your shoes.
You've got them hid. You better get them and bring them back. Right here to me.
Quit talking loud. There's someone in the hall.
What were you saying to Leroy?
Nothing.
What was he saying to you? I heard you say, bring them back here.
He said he had my shoes.
I got nobody's shoes but my own. There's a number for Mr. Robert to call.
You may go, Leroy.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you okay? Father, there's no water for you. A message.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Look what I have for you. Diamonds.
Thank you, Aunt Monica.
Oh, yeah.
Let's try it on. There you go.
Hello, listen, Murray. I know I ran out on you, but this was imperative. Just wouldn't wait. When does it leave? Yes, I've had breakfast. If I get a taxi now, I could just make it. Yes, I've never been on a rig. I'd like to see it. And remember, I've never missed a deadline. Think nothing of it. I'll be gone a couple of days. And I plan on making this my headquarters for the next few weeks, if I may.
Well, as long as you can stand us.
Rhoda.
Yes, Granddaddy?
You really ought to patent that smile of yours. It does unfair things to your elders. I really have to go, dear. I'll catch a taxi at the corner. You are the bright thing in my life. It was you I lived for. You I loved. No matter what happens, I want you to remember that. And don't worry. It'll all come out well.
We'll come back soon.
I will, sweetheart. My bag's upstairs. Don't come along. It'll be quicker.
What a trooper. Now, Christine, I'm a little concerned about you. Are you feeling all right, honey? You haven't been yourself lately.
Can you tell? Can you see it?
Well, it's as if something's bringing you down. Mm-hmm. I just, I wish you felt like you could tell me. Are you taking your vitamins?
Yes.
Well, I bet you need a different kind. You know, I've got an awfully good combination upstairs. You mind if I bring them down to you later?
That would be fine.
Now, Christine, you must forgive me for this, but have you and Kenneth come to a parting of the ways? Is he, maybe his secretary, is she more to him than just an expert on politics?
Oh.
Has she made a nest for him among the office buildings?
No. I wish I were as sure of other things as I am of Kenneth. He's wonderful.
Do you suspect disease, perhaps? Cancer, for example. If you do, we must face it and do what must be done. And a lot can be.
I'm perfectly healthy, as far as I know.
Are you getting enough sleep?
No.
Well, you need sleeping pills. That I can do. Christine, I know I bully you. Now, you know I love you. Truly and deeply, as if you were my own. And I know Emery feels the same way, though I needn't tell you that, for you know it already. Christine, what's the matter, honey? You can trust me.
Oh, goodness, I don't even know where
No, honey. Oh, let it out. Just let it out. Let it out. Oh, you'll feel better. Maybe you can sleep. Damn it. I'll get rid of whoever that is.
want to be here. But I couldn't stay away, so I got a little drunk and came over anyway. Excuse it, please.
You're very welcome.
Like a skunk, I know. Mrs. Breedlove knows everybody. Knows even me.
How are you, Miss Daigle?
I'm half seas over as the fella. I just thought I'd come over and talk to your sweet little girl. She was the last to see my Claude alive.
Yes, I know.
Where do you keep the perfect little lady that was the last to see Claude? I just thought I'd hold her in my arms and we could have a nice talk and maybe she'd remember some little something.
Well, she's not home right now.
I'm just unfortunate, that's all. Just drunk and unfortunate. Only she was right outside when I came by, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I don't see her there now.
She's just the perfect little lady. Never gives any trouble, that's what I hear. You have anything to drink in the house? Anything at all, I'm not the fussy type. I prefer bourbon and water, but anything will do. Well, ain't we swank? Really, Plaza and Astor. Well, what I came here for was to have a little talk with Rhoda because she knows something. I have tried calling Miss Fern on the telephone a dozen times, and she only gives me the brush off. She knows something all right.
Oh, are you all right?
I am not intoxicated in the slightest degree. Kindly do not talk down to me, Mrs. Penmark. I have been through enough without that.
Mother, I brought back change.
Oh, thank you, darling. Miss Daigle would like to see you.
So this is your little girl. Claude spoke of you so often and in such high terms. You were one of his dearest friends, I'm sure. He said that you were so bright in school. So you're Rhoda.
Yes, I am.
Well, come here, let me take a look at you, Rhoda. How about giving your Aunt Hortense a big kiss? You were with Claude when he had his accident, weren't you, dear? You were the little girl who was so sure that she was going to win that penmanship medal and worked so hard. But you didn't win it after all, did you, darling? Claude won it, didn't he, dear? Now tell me this. Would you say that Claude won the medal fair and square, or he cheated? These things are so important to me now he's dead. Would you say that it was fair that Claude had that medal? Because if it was fair, why did you go after him for it?
I want my popsicle.
Come on, if you're gonna go shopping with me, we have to go now. Now. Mr. Pegason's gonna be showing us his collection.
Right now?
Yeah, we're late as it is.
Oh, I must say.
They do have an appointment.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Or practically sure. Of course, I didn't realize that Rhoda had all these social obligations. I thought she was like any little girl who stayed home, minded her mother, and didn't go traipsing all around town with important appointments. I'm sorry for interfering with Rhoda's social life. I'm sorry, Christine, and I offer my deepest apologies. I will apologize to Rhoda too as soon as I can have an interview.
You haven't interfered at all.
I was not in the slightest degree, I assure you.
Hello? Yes, Mr. Daigle. She's here. Not a problem at all. Thank you.
Did you tell him I was drinking and making a spectacle of myself? Did you tell him to call the patrol wagon?
You heard what I said. I only said that you were here. Your husband's at the drugstore on the corner.
I just wanted to hold her in my arms and have a nice little talk.
Well, perhaps another time would be better.
You think because I'm lit. But I'm not lit in the slightest degree, I assure you. But Rhoda knows something. Rhoda knows something that she hasn't told anybody. If you pardon me for being presumptuous. I had a talk with that guard, remember? It was a long and interesting conversation, and he said that he saw Rhoda down at the wharf right before Claude was found among the pilings. She knows something that she isn't telling. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how can I get rid of this pest? You might fool some with that mealy mouth, but you look like Ned in the primer to me.
Then perhaps you shouldn't come here again.
Oh, I wouldn't come back here for $1 million laid in a line. I wouldn't have come this time if I would have known about Rhoda's social obligations. I won't wait for Mr. Daigle. I will go home by myself. I know where I'm not wanted, and I'm not wanted in a place where all these people have all these social obligations. You're looking a little sick and sloppy. I'll tell you what. Come over to my house and I will give you a free beauty treatment. If you're pressed for ready cash, it won't cost you a nickel.
I better get that. Hello, Mr. Daigle.
Thank you, Miss Penmore. Come, Hortense, it's time to go home.
Oh my God. Oh my God, it's time to go. It's time to go home. Oh, Christine. Oh, Christine, you know something. You know something and you won't tell me. You won't tell me.
Hello, operator. I'd like to call Washington, D.C., please. Oh, what can I say to you? Her daughter is...
God she's gone. Oh, sweet. I know I shouldn't take things into my own too capable hands, but I couldn't let her pull Rhoda any longer.
Yeah, no, Miss Daigle came for her. Mr. Daigle came for Miss Daigle.
And I'm afraid I loosened discipline just a little bit. I let her go downstairs for another popsicle.
Did she want another? Why, that's most unusual.
Well, she seemed to want it. And since she's not one of those fat little self-indulgent blobs, I didn't think it'd do her any harm. Oh. Here are your sleeping pills and vitamins, both plainly marked.
Thank you, Monica. I'll keep them separate.
Good. Emery called while I was upstairs. He and Reggie bought some fishing equipment they want to store.
Oh, okay.
They're coming down for lunch. You and Rhoda want to join us?
Oh, not really, Monica. No. Thank you, but no.
There I go again. I'm just bullying you like crazy.
Fire! 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 Fire!
Yo, fire? Was that what they said?
Fire! 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 Ever this way!
Rhoda, what was that?
I don't know, Mother.
It sounded like somebody said fire.
I don't think so, Mother.
Fire! 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 The garage door! There's a man in there!
Oh my God, look at
Break the door down! Is anybody in there? Break the Leroy's door! I can hear him! Break it down! All right, break it down! Break it down! 1, 2, 3! I was just saying to tease you! I never got it! I was just... Oh God! Oh God!
Make it to the pond. It's too late.
Somebody get an ambulance! Looks like he's dead! He's lying still!
Oh, I should have known. Why should have known this was coming? Why am I so blind?
You're not making any sense.
And the screams go on and on.
We thought you'd be up here. It was just a flare up in the garage. It's out now. But I guess Leroy.
Never mind. Never mind.
That's all right. You can say it. I saw that man run down the walk and die.
Oh, God.
And die in fire. Oh, could there be anything worse than that?
I guess you did see the worst of Miss Petlock.
Oh.
What seemed to have happened is he laid on your bed and he made of Excelsior.
Oh, no.
And his cigarette set fire to the stuff.
Yeah, Excelsior burns like gasoline when it's
Okay,
dry.
boys.
You need to leave alone with Christine now. Just a minute.
That'll be the end of it. We can take care of that.
I can't take it anymore. Oh my goodness, calm yourself. Calm yourself. Cut those matches. What is that? Stop that music. What are you talking about? How could you do this? Make some sense. Christine. You're nowhere. I can't leave this. Oh my goodness. What are you talking about? toe out under the covers to find out how cold it was. And it was nipping cold. She remembered why she had wanted to wake up and got out of bed very softly, shivering and pulling on her dress and stockings, making sure they were proper. You have some new vitamins to take tonight.
New ones?
Yes.
Are those vitamins?
Yes, they are.
May I see them, please?
Oh, of course. There's some that Monica brought down for us.
Okay. I think Monica likes me.
Oh, I'm sure she does.
Do you love me, Mommy?
Yes.
Mommy, do you know about Leroy?
Yes.
You told me to put my shoes in the incinerator, didn't you?
Yes.
What did you do with the metal?
I drove out to see Miss Fern today. I made an excuse to go out on the pier. I dropped the metal in the deep water there.
Will you, Mommy?
Yes, my dear.
Leroy had my shoes, and he said he was going to give them to the police, and they tell him about me, and they put me in an electric chair, so I had to.
You don't have to say any more.
Will you read more now?
Yes, but first, you must take your vitamins.
So many.
Yes. I'm to take them too.
Okay. I like apricot juice. It doesn't even need ice. Mommy, I took another box of matches. And I lit the Excelsior. And I locked the door. It wasn't my fault, Mommy. It was Leroy's. He shouldn't have said he was going to put me in the electric chair.
I know. You don't have to say any more, darling.
Don't let them hurt me, Mommy.
Oh. No. Nobody will hurt you. Oh.
There. That's all. Will you read more now?
Yes, my darling.
Good night, Mommy.
Good night, my love. She closed the door carefully and looked at the bright moon and the shiny cold snow. The Carters must have a Christmas tree. They live 2 blocks away, and if they left the curtains open, you could look in and see it. If only there weren't any dogs. Polly walked carefully on the hard snow on the walk, keeping the warm shawl close around her. It was further than she remembered to the Carter's house, but she could see that there were lights in the windows. Rhoda. Rhoda. Oh, my sweet darling. I carried you. And I love you. I couldn't let them put you away and lock you up and do horrible things to you, darling. I couldn't let them hurt you. I love you, my darling. So you rest. I shall rest too. My darling, the one that I love.
make coffee if anybody wants it.
That's a thought.
I'm in favor.
Kenneth, coffee?
No thanks, Monica. Now I must face living without her. I could almost believe she was still with me till they lowered that coffin into the earth. I knew I'd never see her face again. Now the earth is empty. And I'm empty.
She's left us all feeling pretty much the same way.
Why did she do it? Why in God's name did she do such a thing? She wasn't unhappy when I left. Monica, she was closer to you than anyone else lately. Did she say anything that was any kind of reason?
Kenneth, I have gone over and over in my mind everything she said until I'm almost distracted. It doesn't fit any pattern. And I've talked to everyone who knew her, and they are just incredulous and shocked. It's almost as if there was no reason at all.
There was a reason. Christine didn't do things without a reason. Her father died suddenly, you said.
He had a series of attacks. The news of Christine's death, that is too much for his heart.
She had some worry or other, and I think it was connected to her father.
I think she brooded over the death of Leroy.
She was hysterical at the time of the fire, but that was understandable.
When it happened, how did you find her? Did you hear the shot?
Yeah, we heard it and we came right down. She shot herself after giving Rhoda a lethal dose of sleeping pills. It was as if she intended for them to die together.
I don't know how I'll live. I don't know that I can.
I guess nothing helps.
Nothing. I don't think it's much good without Christine. Army, and promotion, and a career. It was Christine that kept me afloat, not any of that.
She was a wonderful girl.
And she left me. Crept away into the earth, and I don't know why. I'm sorry.
Kenneth, don't be sorry. If you need to cry, go ahead. She was worth it.
She didn't want to live.
Kenneth, you have so much to be grateful for. If we hadn't heard the shot, you'd have lost Rhoda too. Rhoda.
Did you like it, Daddy? I played it for you.
Oh, Rhoda. My Rhoda. There's still a little Christine left. It's in your smile.
I love you, Daddy. What will you give me if I give you a basket of kisses?
For a basket of kisses. Oh, my darling. I give you a basket of hugs.
Each time I see a little girl of 5 or 6 or 7, I can't resist a joyous urge to smile and say thank heaven for little girls. For little girls get bigger every day. Thank heaven for little girls. They grow up in the most delightful way. Those little eyes so helpless and appealing, one day will flash and send you crashing through the ceiling. Thank heaven for little girls. Thank heaven for no matter where, no matter who, without them what we thank heaven, thank heaven, thank heaven for little so helpless and appealing, one day will flash and send you crashing through the ceiling.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes tonight's presentation of the Bad Seeds. If you enjoyed this, tell everybody.